As a citizen of Ghana and an undergrad and amateur football in South Korea, the one match I'm looking forward to is that between the Black Stars of my West Africa birth country versus the Taekwondo Warriors of my Northeast Asia host nation. That Group H match will be played on November 28, which is today. The other two countries in this challenging group are Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal and Luis Suarez Uruguay. Yes, Suarez was the one who scooped the ball off the line with his hands in South Africa World Cup 2010 and denied Ghana a historic place in the semis. But I live in the present and in South Korea, so I want to focus on Ghana versus South Korea at Qatar 2022. This is an article by one of Ghanaian national that lives in South Korea. For South Korea and Ghana, perhaps the two underdogs in the group, this game is an absolute must-win for either of them if they are to have a sniff of a chance at progressing to the knockout stages. Now let's talk a little bit about the previous encounters they had. When it comes to previous encounters between these two nations, the Black Stars have come out on top in 3 out of 4 occasions, all in friendlies. South Korea versus Ghana football match summary, November 28th of 2022 via SPN. Their most recent encounter was in 2014 in a friendly played in preparation for the 2014 World Cup, with the Black Stars winning with a 4-0 trouncing of the Taekwondo Warriors. However, this encounter occurred close to a decade ago and is not necessarily an indicator of who's going to come out on top later this month, or most precisely today, the 28th of November. Now let's talk about the current state of the Black Stars. Ghana put an abysmal performance at the 2022 African Cup of Nations, where they were bundled out in the group stage. However, many things have changed for the Black Stars since then. They got rid of ex-manager Milovan Rajevac from Serbia and brought in Oro Ado, an ex-Ghana international and previously assistant coach at Borussia Dortmund. In addition, they swiftly appointed Chris Horton, former manager of Brighton, as technical advisor. They passed their first major task. They qualified Ghana for the World Cup by beating their biggest rivals, Nigeria, in the 2-leg tension-filled playoffs. It validated the decision to bring on Oro Ado and Horton and subsequently to have them lead Ghana to Qatar 2022. With regards to the players, so far the Ghana Football Association has been able to convince some European players of Ghanaian origin, namely Tariq Lamptey of Brighton and Inaki Williams Athletic Bilbao, to join the national team. The GFA would have liked to get their hands on Hudson Odoi as well, but that appears to have fallen through, and we must work with the hand we have been dealt. Talking about Ghana's list 5 results. 2022 goal record of Ghana. Current state of the Taekwondo Warriors. So the Taekwondo Warriors, this is the South Korean team or football gathering that is actually playing at the World Cup. So South Korea is heading to this World Cup with Portuguese coach Paulo Bento. This will be his first World Cup with the Korean national team, as he took over the team from Shin Tae-yong, whose contract was not extended after Russia 2018. In recent years, South Korea has been regular at the World Cup. This will be their 10th consecutive appearance and 11th in total. However, they've made it only past the group stage on 2 occasions, but this team is led by Son Heung-min, who until an eye-soaked injury in a Champions League game in early November had been in the form of his life. They also have other quality players such as Wang Hyujol, Hee Shang Wang, and Lee Jae-sung. Korean football fans will feel the squad can do better than they have done in previous years. South Korea went through the World Cup qualifying group with ease. Although they finished in second spot, they finished the qualifying stage with only one defeat, which occurred after they have already qualified and was the last group game, racking up 7 victories in the process. Overall, their performances were admirable, and head coach Paul Bento was quick to let that be known. After the defeat performances were after the defeat to the United Arab Emirates in the final game, he said the final qualification stage was really good in general. There were some difficult moments in my opinion, but this allowed us to grow up as a team. However, recent performances have been mixed up. They annihilated the Egyptian national team by 4-1 and had comfortable 2-0 victory over Chile. Prior to these results, however, they had been at the mercy of Neymar's Brazil, losing 5-1 and drawing 2-2 with Paraguay. These friendlies gave Coach Bento a good opportunity to look at some new faces, as the squad was missing some injury-hit players. Additionally, this allowed Bento to get a better understanding of his team, seeing the best of some of his players in the performance against Egypt, as well as an erratic backline who allowed some very easy balls to slip in between the sticks. Players to watch out for against these two giant football match of today. Thomas Partey, previously at Atletico Madrid and now at Arsenal, the midfield maestro, would have played a key role for Ghana if they are to have any success at the World Cup. He's a central midfielder who can play in a holding or a box-to-box role, and does both exceptionally. On a good day, he can win the midfield battles and dictate the middle of the park. No, this is not the Arsenal fan in my talking. I'm talking about the real player of Ghana. Mohamed Kudus, a dynamic and creative midfielder who is employed by the current Dutch champions Ajax. He plays in an advanced midfield role, and majority of Ghana's good play in the second and final third of the field will come through him. He's a creative player who excels in tight spaces and is an eye for a pass if needed. He can play in a double pivot in midfield and is robust and defensively sound. He may even be used in false nine role if push comes to shove. The Black Stars will need him if they are to overcome South Korea. Alexander Jiku, a tall, strong and quick centre-back, Jiku has slowly cemented his position as a mainstay in Ghana's backline. His reading of the game, progressive passing and aerial process prowess makes him an all-rounded quality centre-back and will be vital for Ghana in their attempts to keep Son Heung-min quiet. Son Heung-min, no doubt. Millions of South Korean hearts missed many beats when their talisman fractured and eyes soaked in Tottenham's 2-1 Champions League game against Marseille on November 1st. One of the best players on the planet, the current English Premier League Golden Boot winner, will be the danger man for South Korea if he recovers fully before the team's first Qatar match on November 24, which is indeed probable. As it stands, Son will likely be past fit, but might need to play with a protective face mask on. Son's pace on the counter-attack, elite level finishing and decision making in the final third make him a world-class player, and if he were to turn up fully fit on November 28th, it could be curtains for Ghana before the kickoff whistle goes. So maybe his misfortune is Ghana's fortune. Let's see what comes ahead. Hwang Hyo-jo, a pressing forward who is extremely physical and is displayed his two-footed finishing. Hwang Hyo-jo will need to show up for Korea at this tournament as they aim to overturn Ghana and progress. He's currently on a goal drought on the international stage. However, he is normally a lethal finisher and was top of the scoring charter for Bordeaux in League One last season. Hwang Kim-beom, a regular for the Korean national team, the 25-year-old is a central midfielder currently playing for Olympiacos in Greece. He's known for his high work rate and ability to carry the ball through the midfield and central areas of the field, which will be vital for Korea on the transition if they want to get the ball quickly to the likes of Hwang Hee-chan, Hwang Hyo-jo, and Song Hyung-min. Key battles: Thomas Partey vs Hwang In-beom. Hwang In-beom. In football, the team that wins the battle in midfield is more likely to win the game, and that is why these players will be key as to who comes on top in this tie. They are both likely to play the number 8 role in midfield, although Partey might be deployed in holding midfield. Nonetheless, these two will come across each other many times in the game. Their ability to pick up the right passes from the middle to the final third, their willingness to ensure they win the 50-50 battles, and their retention of possession through neat dribbles and simple passes will result in their team winning the midfield battle, and with that, potentially the game. So ladies and gentlemen, let's sit back and relax as we watch Ghana versus South Korea. May the best win.